Hello traders, welcome back to my YouTube channel, FX Bright the Trade Guru here. So on today's video, whether you are a beginner or professional, never ever take a trade until what I'm about to show you happens. You're 80% certified to almost lose the trade. You're just gambling with the remaining 20. So guys, I'll let the intro and disclaimer roll, and I'm going to give you guys these details just after the break. Now, as a beginner trader, I said the first thing you need to do when you open your price chart is to spot out the support and resistance. So for instance, I'm going to spot out this support I'm talking about. So I'm just going to use my zone tool, which is the rectangle. I'm just going to put it there to map out this resistance zone. So you can see how this zone has been a very good zone. So you can see how the price was able to do some drama around these zones. Now, as a beginner, let's assume this is where the market is. For instance, what some people think that they need to do is that when the market is now coming down, maybe let's say this particular point, they want to buy here, right? But the question you're going to ask yourself is this: as a beginner in trading, these points, of course, we've established that this point is a support zone now, because you can see it was a resistance here. Price broke it and price has now come back to it. So let's assume this is where the market is currently. Are you going to buy because the price has now gotten to the resistance, to this support zone now? You're not going to buy. Now what you're going to do is what we call the confluence of resistance and support. Now I told you there are two kinds of resistance and support. There is the horizontal resistance and support, and there is the inclined one, which you call the trend line. So the reason you are not going to buy on this particular place is because this is the only resistance zone, at least in this time frame, that you can spot on this side. In other words, the only thing that is holding this market from coming down is this resistance zone here that has become support. This is the only thing holding price, and let me tell you, my people, it's not enough. It's just not enough. What you need is the confluence of support and resistance. So what I'm going to do, what I tell my students to do, is you're not going to take this one, right? Why? Because we cannot find any other support or resistance traveling from anywhere that can affect this point. But take a look at this one, for instance. This, when the price went up, for instance, and came all the way down to this point, take a look at this, for instance. When the price started bouncing here, you would realize that at this particular point now, this support here is not the only one functioning. Why do I say that? When you take out your trend line tool and place it at this point, once you see two price action inclined at an angle, by the time you put a trend line on them and project it to the future, you will see that they will form you a trend. So they will form you a very good spot where buyers and sellers can align. So in this trend line are other buyers and sellers. So remember, the first buyers and sellers we had were the people that were on this place, right? Now the second buyers and sellers we have will be people that will be at this inclined angle. Now they were not. Now remember, I was not able to draw this line until this one finished forming. So when this one came here and bounced off, I was able to draw this trend line. So the next place these people from this trend line and these people from this place are going to meet is this point. So this is the main point to buy or sell. Contrary to what you were told, support and resistance, buy and sell. The reason why you've been losing all your money is because you think it's about buying on support, buying on support, setting on resistance. You are not doing the right thing. What you need to do is look for the confluence of support and resistance. Now, if you come to this place to find your buy, you will be more accurate. It will be almost impossible to lose a trade. You are not chasing the market. You are just going to draw your lines and find a point where you will find very good confluence. For instance, this point. So you can see the buyers that were on this trend line and the buyers that are on this place, they met at this point, and this point became a powerful point, and that's the reason why you can see how price started shooting up, right? That's the reason you can see how price started shooting up. So the moment you're able to, you are not trying to rush to take this trade. You're going to wait for this confluence, and by the time you know it, you're going to get a very good entry. So let's see if we can find more examples so I can show you guys how this works. Okay, so now take a look at this particular example. Now see what the price was able to do in this side. So you can see how the market was ranging all the way, then the market started buying up. But I want to show you guys something very important. Now, what I tell my students to do is, the first thing you want to do when you come to a chart, maybe the chart looks like this, you want to be able to first of all map out your support and resistance from the horizontal point. So what we're going to do is that we're going to try to map out our support and resistance. So look at this point. You can see how this point was a resistance zone. So price came all the way, broke it, and bounced off this point. So straight away, I know that this zone contains support and resistance. So I'm just going to draw it and project it to the future, right? So very nice. So the next thing I'm going to do is I just want to map out my support and resistance zones all the way through. So now I'm going to also map this side out, keep mapping them out. So if you look at this point, you can see how price jumped up all the way to this point, came down, came here, did some things, came down. So all the way, before you need to tell me anything, I know this point is a support and a resistance zone. So I'm going to map it out. So I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm mapping it out. You're going to give it some width, because it's not just a point, it's a zone, right? So I'm going to map it out, but I want it to go into the future. Remember, I'm going to be stretching it into the future, even this one, right? Now, what we'll be waiting for price to do is for price to be able to come down into one of these support and resistance. But now, the real issue for us, the real issue is not just for price to come down. Already, I'm not done mapping out the support and resistance, so let me map them out again. Now, if you still look at this point, you will see how this point also was a support and a resistance zone. So, all right, good. So now what we're going to do is that, typically speaking, you will think that when the price is coming up and dropping down here, we are going to be taking a buy, because there is a support that should bounce the market up. But that's not how you work, guy. What you're going to do is that you've been able to map out the horizontal support. What you're going to do right now is to map out the inclined support, which is the trend line kind of support. Now, the only price action you will trade is the one that confluences with any of this support or resistance zone. Guys, I'm talking to the beginners here. I want the beginners. A lot of people come into trading and they lose for no reason. Why? Because they were told some things and they start losing. Guys, you don't need to lose. I've made a lot of money from trading, a lot of money, you won't even believe. But I want people to be able to learn these things and trade accurately. So the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to find a trend line and inclined support that can match with any of these our support zone. Remember, this is our horizontal support zones. Now we need an inclined support that will also match and create a confluence with this horizontal support. So what we're going to do is that we're going to put one inclined support, which is the trend line. So I said, the moment you see price on another price inclined at an angle, two bottoms inclined at an angle, all you need to do is put your trend line there and stretch it out, right? Already you can see how price is coming here to meet some of this support and resistance. Now, if this price action is able to come down to meet price at any of these zones, now I'm going to keep stretching it, right? I'm going to keep stretching it. So now you can see what the price action has been able to do. Price has now been able to come and meet this my inclined support. Now I'm going to stretch either one of these support and resistance zone all the way to this side to see which of them is going to confluence with that my trend line, and you can see the one that has confluence with this trend line, this one. So I'm expecting there is no way for price to come to this point, meeting this traveler and this traveler confluencing at this point. As long as price is coming all the way to this juncture, price must buy. That is how it goes. So you can see how the market will do, and straight away the market has started moving up. Why? Because once you meet this kind of confluence, price must respond to confluence. Guys, listen, I want you guys to understand how to trade this matter. This is how to trade the forex market, synthetic indices, crypto. I trade all these things, guys, and I make a lot of money from trading. So guys, I hope this video was helpful. So I will see you guys in my next video. Also, my phone number is on the description of this channel, so you can go there, WhatsApp me, DM me if you want me to help you look at some movement of price, if you want training, whatever you want. So DM me, I will be up to respond to you. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Take care.